Welcome to the Web Piano Teacher Podcast. Gather together and relax with us as we perform your favorite songs, discuss what makes them great, and how to make it work on piano.
If you'd like to learn, play, and share this song like Shawn does, using his revolutionary whiteboard technique, visit webpianoteacher.com and try out the free membership level. Please don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Piano Man by Billy Joel.
Let's do it. It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday. The regular crowd shuffles in. There's an old man sitting next to me, making love to his tonic and gin. He says, "Son, can you play me a memory? I'm not really sure how it goes, but it's sad and it's sweet, and I knew it complete when I wore a younger man's clothes." Oh, la-di-da-di-di-da, la-da-di-di-da-da-da. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody, and you got us feeling alright. Now John at the bar is a friend of mine. He gets me my drinks for free, and he's quick with a joke or to light up your smoke. But there's some place that he'd rather be. He says, "Bill, I believe this is killing me," as a smile ran away from his face. "Well, I'm sure that I could be a movie star if I could get out of this place." Oh, la-di-da-di-di-da, la-da-di-di-da-da-da. Now Paul is a real estate novelist who never had time for a wife, and he's talking with Davy, who's still in the Navy and probably will be for life. And the waitress is practicing politics as the businessmen slowly get stoned. Yes, they're sharing a drink they call loneliness, but it's better than drinking alone. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody, and you got us feeling alright. It's a pretty good crowd for a Saturday, and the manager gives me a smile, 'cause he knows that it's me they've been coming to see. forget about life for a while. And the piano, it sounds like a carnival, and the microphone smells like a beer. And they sit at the bar and put bread in my jar and say, man, what are you doing here? Oh, la-di-da, di-di-da, la-da, di-di-da, da-da. Everybody, sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody, and you got us feeling alright. All right. Woo! What a song.
Yeah.
Well, I have to tell you, whenever I sing that one, it's always seems insurmountable because it stays up so high. Oh, I'm on that G for so much of it. And I always feel like, I'm not going to be able to do it this time. Then somehow
a little adrenaline always helps.
Yeah, a little adrenaline. Plus being 48, the voice is...
Oh, come on. Billy Joel does it.
Yeah, I guess so. You look at him, you can't complain, right? What he does. I saw him in concert once. And man, he is a performer. So he's...
You know what's interesting about that? He says he's not a performer.
Really?
Well, I guess his original intention when going into music was never to be a performer. He was just going to be a songwriter.
Uh-huh.
And so and he talks about like when he did the show with Elton John, and he said, Elton John's a performer.
Yeah.
He loves it. He does show after show after show after show. Billy Joel, he was like, I like to take a lot of time off. He's like, performing is not my...
Yeah. Well, let me clarify that. I don't mean performing on the piano. I mean as a front man, as just with the audience, the rapport, back and forth. He tells a lot of jokes, tells a lot of stories, jokes around with the band. It's a good time. Yeah. So that's what I mean when I say it's a good performer. Good. Maybe I should say entertainer. That's one of his songs.
Because I guess I see performer is like what Elton John does, especially in his early years where he's like all dressed up.
Sure.
And he's like standing up and he's like playing the keyboard with his feet. And,
And a lot of his performing is his live improv stuff that he does. It's musical is always there. And Billy didn't do much of that, though I'm sure he could if he wanted. But just as far as being a personality that you like and you enjoy, one of the best as far as that goes, from when I saw him.
I haven't seen him, so I can't really say. I just listened to his music and watched a bunch of interviews on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, we didn't introduce ourselves this time. I'm Shawn. I almost said I'm Shauna. I'm Shawn. This is Shauna.
Yes.
And welcome to the Web Piano Teacher podcast. I have a website, webpianoteacher.com, and my main thing is teaching piano lessons in video form on the website using my unique method for people who don't want to read music, can't read music, have trouble reading music, want a different way to learn, but they really want to play the way their favorite artists play. So that's kind of what I specialize in.
Yeah. So we're teachers. Actually, he's a teacher. I'm the person that turns the cameras on and off. Switches the cameras, which sometimes you'll notice I'm like asleep on the job and we'll forget to change the camera.
And you do the video editing.
And I do the video editing, which also don't know what I'm doing there either.
Oh, I think it's pretty good.
But so we are not performers. Mm-hmm. We're teachers.
We're teachers mainly, yes. So, that was
just going to lower the bar of expectation for all of our performances that we do for the podcast.
So quickly, if you're looking to play piano, you want to play, and you've always wanted to play, you might try my method if every other method has kind of failed you, because people tend to be able to have success with my method, especially when they've failed with traditional methods. I use a whiteboard technique with letters and chords, and it works for a lot of people, for millions. So this is one of the songs I teach on the website, as well as many other Billy Joel songs, because I love Billy Joel, and many of our members love Billy Joel as well. So I've done his catalog, the great majority of all his hits I've done for sure. And
I'm not going to say that your method like gets you from point A to point B faster. However, I believe, no, it's still work. somebody who's maybe never played before, it still is work and effort to play songs.
Yes.
But it's going to get you playing a Beatles song faster than if you were doing traditional note reading. Sure. And you've got to go through like playing little row, row, row your boat first.
If note reading has been a roadblock for you, like something, it feels like that's standing between you and all the music that you love, we kind of go around that, we bypass that, and we just learn a different way. I kind of developed this as a private teacher when I saw all the kids, who couldn't read music, but they love music. I was like, man, this stinks because they're going to quit or they hate it or they're frustrated, and they just couldn't, get it. Their brains work differently. So if you think your brain works differently, you might try it, see what you think. Anyway, but I do love Billy Joel, one of my favorites of all time. Him, of course, and Elton John. They are, I know we kind of group those together, but they're not the same.
They're not.
Yeah, they're really different songwriters and different approaches to music. They just tend to be piano-driven songs, and I love them both. I mean, I could... only do those songs as far as teaching for the rest of my time, and I would be happy.
Well, here's where they are similar. And they did come onto the scene about the same time as each other. Mm-hmm. So maybe the world was like ready for their music. The radio shows were ready to play this kind of music. The record labels were ready to sign it. Mm-hmm. They wrote longer songs. They wrote songs that had classical themes to them, or where they were taking elements of classical music in their classical training and translating it to like pop and rock themes of the music that they loved to listen to. Mm-hmm. So they are similar.
Yeah. What I like about Billy Joel's music, he's individual, but he also each song has a different personality.
Yeah.
With Elton's, you could go from one to the next, and they're all great, but you could really just, go make a medley, of his songs, and they would be wonderful. But every song has a particular feeling, a personality all its own. So this Piano Man song, I know you looked up some of the history on it, and I think I kind of know it, but I'm not exactly sure. Can you enlighten us on that for this song? Because this is his hit. This is the one he says for the end of the show, He does it at the
because
end
it's a sing-along.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what he said. He kind of like criticized his own songwriting in one of the interviews I watched with this. And probably all you like mega Billy Joel fans out there, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. Because I've met the people on the website that are Billy Joel fans are like mega fans. But anyway.
Me included.
You included, yeah. So he said this song goes nowhere. He's not super like into the melody of it because he said he had this story. If he goes into a piano bar and there's a guy playing it and then they recognizes him, and of course he'll start playing this song.
Yeah.
And nobody's singing, and then he'll quickly realize it doesn't go anywhere. So after the first verse, it doesn't just flow right in. He put in that la da 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 da. And then he goes in, they kind of finish that part, and they're like, okay, well, da, 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 back to the beginning. So he kind of like criticized his own songwriting ability, which of course everybody who performs or writes a song is their own worst critic, And
they're never done with it. Yeah, they're never done.
I'm listening to the song and I'm like, why is he saying this is a bad thing? Everybody loves the song. And then in the interview, he goes on to say, well, it's a song it's a sing-along song. And he said he really, instead of like writing the song more like a poem when he's composing the lyrics, he said it's a limerick. And then he read the lyrics and it really does sound like a limerick. So it's a coupling of the 5 lines instead of a poem.
Well, I have to write, because the chord progression, it's the same for the verse as for the chorus.
Yes.
I
think that's what he meant by didn't go anywhere.
And I have, then you have the harmonica part, da 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 da, da, and then you have the crescendo, da, da. And it's a little bit different here and there in the song, so I have to write those little things in there. I put, harmonica melody or 70s major. I don't know why I think of the 70s when I do this. It clicks for me, but I have to write that in there so I know which thing to do, or I'll go to the wrong thing.
Yeah, you'll get lost.
Yeah, yeah. But the wonderful thing about this song is the story. It
Right.
tells an amazing story. His lyrics carry the song to me.
Of course.
Yeah, the story of it is so neat. And I thought, how did he write such a neat story with just a few lines and make it rhyme too? You know, Davy and Navy, and that's just genius.
So they're real people.
Yeah. Oh, they are.
Yeah. So
Okay.
he was, I guess he had signed a bad record deal in New York. I think they all did in the 70s.
Kind of heard this. Yeah.
And so he decided to disappear and go to LA. And he was hiding out in LA, and he was married to his first wife. They were starting to run out of money. He needed to work, but he couldn't because he was under contract, and he wanted to switch to another record label. Anyway, so he goes to LA, and he was basically says he was hiding out, and he gets this job at the Executive Room Bar in LA, and he was performing under Bill Martin,
Okay.
which his full name is William Martin Joel. So he was Bill Martin and trying to literally just getting tips.
Okay.
And all the people he sings about are people that he came across during his time in this bar. So John was the bartender and always worked the same shift as him. I feel like this probably was a real conversation they had. Paul, I liked this part. Paul was a real estate novelist, which when I'm listening to the words, I was like, what is a real estate novelist?
Yeah.
Like somebody that writes about real estate? I don't understand. No, he was a real estate agent who was trying to write the next
I
great
never
American
wondered
novel.
about that. Okay.
Well, I was like, you know me.
I thought it was just a term. Okay.
No, the guy came to the bar every night and was trying to write the next great American novel, which I want to know if Paul ever wrote that novel.
Yeah. Be interesting.
Anyway, and then the waitress practicing politics, this is interesting, was his wife, his first wife, Elizabeth Weber.
And she waitressed the restaurant.
She waitressed at the same place.
Okay.
But eventually...
Is that how he got the job?
I don't know. Here's how so the waitress practicing politics. I always kind of wondered, like, I'm building this character in my head. But now that I know it was his wife, and then it made me remember something else that I had read about She's Always a Woman. So that song was about her also.
Okay.
And it was about her being like fierce negotiator. So she became his manager. And she ended up taking over. So he was in like financial ruins.
Okay.
So she got all his financial affairs in order.
Wow.
And dealing with the record labels. And in the song She's Always a Woman, she can wound with her eyes. She's still like a thief. She'll never give in. Other executives, people they dealt with, thought she was super like unfeminine and didn't really like her. Yeah. Because she was like tough. But
she probably had to be that way
to Billy Joel, she was always a woman.
Okay.
So that's the waitress practicing politics.
Oh my
gosh. The same woman from She's Always a Woman.
Yeah.
I thought,
as fans, we love it when the songs actually are real, have real stories to them. So
and
to
it's
me,
like, you know, the sitcom crossover episode, you know, where like the characters from another show show up in the characters of this show. Like when Mad About You was on Friends. You remember that?
Yeah.
So this to me has that same like exciting storyline that the lady from She's Always a Woman is the waitress practicing politics.
Oh, wow.
Anyway.
So, and I remember, this may not be true. It seemed like I remember that was a tough time in his life, but he was thankful for it because he got that song. He was able to write that song from playing in the piano bar, I think. So,
I mean, if I could have a tenth of the royalties from this song, I'd be super thankful for a tough time in my life also.
So I love, what I like about it, I love the story, first of all. I love the simplicity of the music. Maybe he's, being critical of that, but I love that the verse and the chorus, because when something, I think I've done some songwriting, and when you have a simpler chord progression, I think it's easier to tell a long story, something that, and I think this is the only way it could be for this song. It's in 6/8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or it could be in 12/8 too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, dun, 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 dun. And over again, just a descending bass line, and you have the chunk in the right hand. And as far as piano goes, it's really not, there's two maybe parts that are a little bit difficult for most people. The beginning, but that's not too bad because you're just holding a chord. and the right hand's playing all the, you never have to do left and right hand at the same time difficulty part. So the very beginning and also the solo, I don't have it in front of me now, but I had to rewrite it. Had to write it again. That is so cool. So I had to write that out. I'm looking at it right now. But that's the second most difficult part. But besides that, I give this to beginner students when they want to play and they're shocked that they can play this song, not the beginning and not the solo, but the rest of it and sing along. So I would say beginners could try this on the website if they wanted to. That, you could skip the intro and the solo part. And then, if you're intermediate, you could give it a shot and see if you could do it. But
speaking of singing, how would you rate Billy Joel's singing voice?
Oh my gosh. One of the best as well. Here's why. I mean, he has a beautiful tone to his voice, but he can somehow make it sound. He can change the timbre of it almost to where it, according to what song he's singing. I mean, listen to that song. The Hollywood. Say goodbye to Hollywood. I haven't done it in a while. But the way he does his voice on that sounds totally different than the way he would sing on, You're Always a Woman or Uptown Girl or what. He's able to change the timbre of it, and it doesn't sound weird. Like I could change my timbre and sound stupid if I wanted to, in a song. But he's able to change the way his voice sounds, like kind of like an impressionist does, So that's amazing to me that he can do that and create the different tones. It's like someone changing a tone on the keyboard because they want a different electric piano sound or something. Well, he can do that with his voice. And that's really cool to have the range that he has. I mean, he could sing really high, he could sing really low. In fact, the range of this song is incredible, because
I feel like most of his songs are that way.
Yeah. But being able to change the timbre of it to match, again, that personality of that particular song, that's part of the genius too.
So I have two things to say. So I was watching an interview of him on Howard Stern show, which I don't always recommend Howard Stern. However, Howard Stern will ask the question. He's not scared to ask questions that should be kind of embarrassing to ask. And it gets people to answer questions they wouldn't normally.
Yeah, he's a good interviewer.
Answer. So he said something, and Billy Joel clarified or corrected him and was like, "No, I'm not really a good singer. They make me sound good in the studio." Which maybe I'm seeing a theme here. Billy Joel is very self-deprecating, but he doesn't think he's a good singer.
Yeah,
which I would disagree too. I would agree with you and maybe that's the part where he can't see that, and what makes him so amazing is he can tell a story of a song musically, lyrically, and then even how he delivers the song tells the same story. And so all of our senses are being hit with a singular message. And man, I think that's why he's so good.
Yeah. Well, he might be one of some people, who are really talented at something. They just can never really get it through their own head that they are talented or that their skill is amazing. He just may be, one of those people. But as far as songwriting, top. As far as a singer, tops. He
did agree. He said even though the song doesn't go anywhere, he goes, it does tell a good story. So he knows.
Yeah.
The level that why people enjoy it. I mean, he's totally aware. This is a good song. It's a good story.
And it's a good sing. I mean, where would we be in the world without that song? Wherever we do a concert, which we do live concerts once in a while, this is always one of the songs. And it's always one of the most favorite songs everybody loves because they love to sing along. Yeah. People love to sing. And I love it. Piano Man.
He is. So here's another crossover song.
Okay.
Situation. So when I said too that maybe Billy Joel's popularity, like Elton John's, came in this time because the radios were starting to be ready to play their type of songs. So like when we did the Elton John episodes, we didn't really talk about Benny and the Jets, but everybody was like, they're never going to play this song on the radio because it's too long. And then they played it on the radio and everybody loved it.
Yeah.
So this song, originally cut, was
one of the longest songs ever.
5 minutes, 37 seconds.
Yeah. That's how much it is now?
Yes.
Okay.
So obviously that was too long. And so they cut it. They cut the second verse, first and the second verses or something, and then spliced them together. And then it was 4 minutes, like 4.5 minutes. And that was still too long. So they did another demo cut.
Okay.
For like release to record or radio stations and stuff, and they just cut the fourth verse and the final chorus. So they got it down to 3 minutes and 16 seconds, and that's what went out. Which that's not what we know, but I guess if you were originally listening to this in, November of 1973, you were hearing the 3-minute version. Okay.
When I hear it on the radio, anytime in my life, they always play the whole thing.
Well, yeah, that was like 15 years later.
Yeah. Like if someone wrote this song today, there's no way it would get radio time because of it's too long.
Well, I don't know. Anyway, where I was going with this, then in his next album, Street Life Serenade, he did the song The Entertainer. Do you know that song?
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
I am the entertainer.
Okay, so he has a line in there, a lyric. It was a beautiful song, but it ran too long. If you're going to have a hit, you got to make it fit. So they cut it down to 3:05. Yeah. So he was then singing about Piano Man.
Yeah, and they cut it down because of, money. Want more time, but to me it's got to be the length that it is. It tells us, and if you cut it short, it doesn't finish the story.
No. So,
yeah, it's a long song, but it's a good song, and I love every minute of it. What was I going to say? I can't remember. Oh, I was going to, and if you're wondering about, I forgot to hit the timer.
No, I started the timer.
Oh, okay. All right. What are we on?
5 minutes.
Oh, 5 minutes left. Okay, great. I would like people to comment on this YouTube video. Of course, what you think about this, what you like. Also, we are considering on future podcasts doing some albums, and more songwriting like we have done. We've done Carole King, we've done
Elton
John, and we've done Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
And so we kind of are getting into a groove where we kind of like picking an album, an epic album to do, or just an album that we like. And if you guys have some suggestions, I'm not saying we'll use it, but please put it in the comments, So maybe a suggestion. A lot of times what we do next will be from suggestions that members have or people that watch YouTube. So if you have some suggestions on a great album you like or an artist, please feel free to comment on that.
Yes, I think.
Yeah, Shawn always looks over at me when I go off script there. So. What is he going to do?
Well, yeah, what am I going to have to do?
Yeah,
that's right. What it turns into.
Yeah. So if you're a Billy Joel fan, I do tons of other lessons on the website. It's one of, Elton and Billy are two of the most requested, lessons. And I just have a lifetime. I mean, you could spend the rest of your life probably learning their stuff. Some of them are live versions too, so those are really cool. You get, a lot of stuff in the live version you don't get on the album as far as the piano playing. Yeah, so what else you got?
I mean, you kind of wrapped it up.
Yeah, well, we are getting close to the end there.
I was going to talk about his songwriting because that is an element in those other three that you mentioned where we really talk about how they come up with these songs, just like their method. And he's a guy that definitely gets the melody first, the music. He gets a musical inspiration first, and then he writes a lyric.
Yeah, that's how I am.
I am not that way. And I think there are certainly songwriters that have they have a story they want to tell, and then they come up with, or they work with somebody else.
All right, so that's Piano Man by Billy Joel, one of my favorite songs. Hope you guys enjoyed the performance of it and our thoughts on Billy Joel. Please leave comments, like the video, and let us know what you're thinking. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Bye,
See you
guys.
later.